Hello and welcome to the 51%, a show about women reshaping our world. I'm Pryde, filling in for Annette Young. Coming up, Zambia's government fends off increasing criticism of a law giving women 1 day off a month when they have their period. A massive spike in American women interested in running for office after Donald Trump's election. I'll be speaking to the director of VoteRunLead, Erin Vilardi. And a film about independent Arab women living in Tel Aviv causes controversy. First to Zambia, where female workers can take 1 day off a month because of period pains. It's referred to as Mother's Day, since discussing sexual health publicly is taboo. Some Zambians say the 2015 law recognizes the important role women play in society, but others argue it's bad for productivity and encourages laziness.
Once a month, Shupe Luchembe takes a day off work to cope with her period pains. She doesn't need to provide a sick note or even to explain the reason to her employer. That's because in Zambia, a labour law allows women to stay at home once a month during their period.
It helps me manage my physiological needs. Yeah, as a woman, it goes without saying, every month I'll need a special day to be away from the office and manage myself properly.
The day is subtly known as Mother's Day, regardless of whether the woman has children or not. It was passed into law in 2015, giving Zambian women unique rights in Africa. Further afield, only Japan, Indonesia, Taiwan, South Korea and a few Chinese provinces have similar laws in place. But not all Zambians agree with it. Opponents say many women abuse it and use it for other personal reasons.
I've never taken Mother's Day in my life. My sense is that giving half the workforce 12 days extra per year is unproductive.
Both civil servants and employees of the private sector are allowed to take Mother's Day. Although some businesses complain that it affects their productivity, the government defends it.
Women don't go on Mother's Day at the same time. They go at different times. So it would have been different if they all went on one day. Then you can say that the business will close or something like that. But they alternate. So there's no documentary evidence that it has lowered productivity.
Zambia's economy is already affected by low productivity, with growth rates slowing to 2.9% in 2016, according to the World Bank. But many women are proud of this progressive law, in a country where anything related to sexuality is generally considered taboo.
Marching is good, running for office is better. That's the reasoning of more and more women in the US. Since November's presidential election, there's been a dramatic rise in the number of women signing up for political training. Women hold fewer than 20% of seats in the US Congress. Female governors are rare, as are female mayors. Joining me now from New York City is Erin Vilardi. She's the founder and director of VoteRunLead, an organization that trains future female politicians. Hello, thank you very much indeed for your time. Now,
thank you.
Just how many more women are seeking political training, and what do you put that down to?
So we usually get between 50, maybe 60, tops 100 women on some of our online classes. Our last 3 online classes had 1,100 women sign up each time. So that's just an exponential growth rate. And they are ready to run. Surveying them afterwards, about 40% of them actually want to run by the next 2 years within the 2018 elections. In the past, we were seeing folks who were more often looking for a 5-year plan. So we know that folks are ready to run, and they're ready to run right now. I attribute that to a very tough presidential election, the loss of Hillary Clinton as the first female president of the United States, and the vulgarity of the presidential election and the inauguration speeches that did not include women, and the policies that have been coming forth that have made women pretty angry about what they're seeing at the highest levels.
Is it a nationwide trend, this spike in women signing up for political training, and is it bipartisan?
So Luckily, we actually track for geography, and we're seeing in our heat map all over the country, from Maine down to Mississippi, across over to California. I don't know if it's trending around Republican and Democratic women. What I do see trending is that folks who have been unaffiliated with politics or unaffiliated with a political party are now standing up and saying, it's my time to run. I think we're seeing more left-leaning women interested in running for office, but actually we're also noting that women who care about women's issues writ large and who are not affiliated with a political party say now is the time to actually take a look at local government, at state government, and see if there's a place for me.
You mentioned women's issues. Which issues tend to matter the most to women, would you say? And are they very different to the ones men focus on?
I think one of the biggest things that women care about is the economy and safety, right? Their economic ability to make the same amount of money as men, to be paid for the same work that men are doing, to be able to operate in our economy as full consumers. We know that women are 80% of our consumer power in this country, but we're only making something like 70 cents, depending on if you're a white woman or a woman of color. Women also care, of course, about reproductive health. Just like your segment before, it's critical that women have the full range of health options in order to be full citizens in our democracy. So we see those things as hand in hand. And I think you're actually seeing from the photos of the march as well all around the country that men care about these issues and care about supporting women in a time that I think is pretty critical to do so.
Now, wanting to run for office is one thing, getting elected another. What would you say are the main problems, obstacles that women face when they're running for office?
Sure. The first one is that we actually disqualify ourselves. We say that we don't have enough skills or we possibly don't have big enough networks to fundraise. So at VoteRunLead, we do a lot to demystify that. And what's interesting is actually they're looking at a Trump presidency and seeing a man without military or political experience who is now the leader of the free world, and they're deciding that they have enough skills to run for a city council or a school board. But the fundraising piece is tough, especially for lower income women. And so we help them walk through what it takes to actually map your networks, who may be able to give you resources, and what are the wider net of resources that you can attract funds from. But at the end of the day, it's all about knowing your community, knocking on doors, meeting voters, and that's something that women are actually really good at and is an asset to their candidacies.
Now, I'd like to just quickly touch on the word feminist, because we've got Kellyanne Conway. She, of course, is an advisor to President Donald Trump, and she was the first female campaign manager to win a presidential election. But in a recent interview, she said she wouldn't call herself a feminist. She said, "I'm not anti-male." Is that, do you think, a setback for people fighting for gender equality?
I think that's an old definition and an old scapegoat definition to say feminism is anti-male. I don't know where she's been for the last 10 years, from, Beyonce with the feminism sign behind her to even Taylor Swift calling herself a feminist. To be a feminist is to be for the same equal rights for men and women, and that's nothing to do with being anti-male. What's good for women and girls is great for men and boys. So that's something that I think is actually just an easy scapegoat line to get out of. Do you want to, support a president who creates conditions for men and women to live full lives? And we saw her, congratulations. It's phenomenal that she is the first woman to do that. Donna Brazile actually was the first woman to win a popular vote in Al Gore's campaign in 2000. But to win the presidency, not the popular vote, but the electoral, Kellyanne Conway is the first to do that. And that's a great accomplishment. And we need more women at the highest levels, campaign managers, Republican and Democrat. But feminism is not about being anti-male. Feminism is believing that men and women have equal rights and deserve equal footing in the world.
Now, who do you think aspiring female politicians look up to, whether they're male or female?
I think folks are looking at Kamala Harris out in California. She is a new senator. She's a woman of color, and folks are really interested in her bold vision. Elizabeth Warren, of course, has been out there for quite some time. But then you have some Republican governors who we're seeing ascend. Nikki Haley from South Carolina, who is now the head of the UN, is quite a remarkable woman. So I think on the left and the right, we have a handful of women who could potentially run in 2020 or 2024.
All right, Erin Vilardi from VoteRunLead, thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
All right, let's turn our attention now to an award-winning film called Bar Bahar, or In Between. It focuses on women dealing with various types of oppression. 3 very different independent Arab women living together in the Israeli capital, Tel Aviv. The film angering some Israeli Arabs, as Simon Harding reports.
Drinking, partying, and smoking. Trends of everyday life that you would consider normal in the lives of young women. But new film Bar Bahar has caused controversy and outrage in the Muslim communities of Israel. The film depicts 3 young Arab women who live in the liberal city of Tel Aviv and their struggles against the rule-bound Arab world and their inequality in the Israeli world.
The message I want to transmit is that it's time for women to speak up. Until now, we were listening to men, and they were the ones running everything. The time has come for women to take the lead.
The plot follows the women's wishes to emancipate themselves from the shackles of conventionalism, which affect them in different ways.
اكيد بتعرفي ما انت صرتي زيهن فاجرات.
بتعرف كثير مليح انه انا مش هيك شو ليلى وسلمى برضه.
تمك بديش اسمع.
The message that I want to transmit to the Palestinian society is that we are very, very strong women. We're not defective. Our voice is not defective, neither are our acts, nor our responsibilities and decisions.
Bar Bahar has received a terrible backlash from the Muslim community. The mayor of the conservative town of Al-Fam, shown in the film, has called on it to be boycotted, as he believes it does not reflect the values of his town.
Our take on the movie is that it distorts the image of Al-Fam as a city, as a society, and as an Arab society living in Israel. It portrays our young men and women, it distorts their reputation, it shows them in an immoral and indecent way.
Despite the critics, the film has generated a lot of interest and has already been rewarded at international festivals.
Now, Peter Capaldi's announcement that he's leaving the British TV hit Doctor Who has naturally got people guessing as to who will replace him, and some are saying it's time for a female Doctor. Among them, MP Harriet Harman and actress Billie Piper, who starred in the show. So far, Doctor Who has been played by a dozen white men. Perhaps it's time to take the show in a new direction. And that's it for now. If you'd like to comment on what you've just seen, you can head to our Facebook page, that's France24.51%, or send us a tweet @_51%. Thanks for your feedback so far. Do keep those comments coming in. Until our next show, bye for now.